just sharing what I see and what I've been experiencing in this overall consuming period of the world. So what I've been being reminded of in the last 4 months is where the father of lies exists, and he exists everywhere in this world. And I'm just feeling a responsibility to dig into some of these lies, not dig deep, but just share the titles sort of them. For those interested, in 2022, we'll go deeper into some of these and like undo the thinking around them. But for now, I'm just going to touch on some of the topics that are considered woke, and they're really actually Satan's deception, confusion, and lies weaved into society and our culture today. So actually, woke culture, in my opinion, is not awake. They are far from being connected to God and far from being awake. That's the deception and the confusion. Woke is actually being led by the father of lies in this world, who is Satan. And the biggest deception that he's created is that he doesn't exist and that everybody's in the positive kumbaya land. But if we don't know who our enemy is, we will not be able to see and protect ourselves from any of it. That's what he wants. So there are some of these topics that they're all intended to divide and confuse us, whereas God intends to unite us. So wherever you see division and not unity, that's the father of lies. That's Satan. That's the design of Satan. Wherever you see unity and love, that's the design of God. But sometimes Satan has confused love and unity in a mixed up kind of conversation where it looks like love, and he is being a deceiver and being shown as like a light worker. So we have to be really careful. But anyway, so I'll just name some of the topics that have been really prevalent in the world lately and always. And since I've been in it for a while, all consumingly, they've been in my face 24/7. So I would say the racial conversation, obviously, but it's been, heightened as of late during the coronavirus crisis. So that is to divide us. The medical industry and pharmaceuticals and everything happening in that world politically and medically, dividing us on healthcare and freedom of choice. So gender and our bodily autonomy. So I know a lot of people have different views about this, but the point is bodily autonomy and choice, freedom of choice, and respecting each other's right to choose. So then gender and all the confusion around identity and all these conversations around this, he, her, him, and, that's been developing and taking root over the years, and all the confusion around it, and sharing bathrooms, and just there's so much to this topic. I can't even start. There's a lot of confusion, and Satan is the author of confusion. God is not. It's very clear. It will be very black and white with God. Whereas with Satan and evil, there will be confusion. So I find that there's a lot of confusion in the gender and identity conversation in the world. And that's an indication that Satan is present, darkness is present. Another one is television. So television and the media and newspapers and everything that has to do with all of that, politicians, music, movies, all the predictive programming that goes along with it, and controlling our minds and telling us what to think, how to think, and reading all of these magazines and articles, and knowing, a lot of us do know, that they're controlled by a very small few people that control all the media, all television, all movies, all of the music industry, all of it. It's hard to believe, but it's all controlled and manipulated, and social media on top of it is added to this list now. So being careful with it, which is very difficult to do because it's very all consuming as well, and consumes me a lot as well. So that whole arena, teaching us what to think, how to view the world, etc., constantly fear mongering, like all this like events and all this negativity, etc. So that is an area where Satan has definitely put his grasp into in so many different ways, and is dominating that sort of reality right now. Then social equity over capitalism. So like the people who work more, everybody benefits. That sounds like a really good idea. Of course, the poor should benefit from all of our hard work. I think that we could eradicate, we could eradicate a lot already by now, but why haven't we? So that doesn't really work. That idea isn't actually working in reality. So that whole social equity over capitalism conversation, there's a lot of confusion. There's a lot to unpack there. And then feminism, like so many women, chasing their career and money over family and marriage, and then finding out later that they were cheated out of the opportunity to have children. It's too late. And thinking that their career is more important and money is more important than that, and confusion around that aspect, and people getting married much later, having children much later. I was also afraid to do any of that for this reason, and many of these lies I've also fell for. So in this arena, I think that there's a lot of confusion. I think there's a lot of fear, and wherever there's confusion and fear, that's a lie of the enemy. So another one that leads us to there's too many people on the planet, and climate change, and how the disaster of what we're doing with climate change, and how we're destroying our planet, and the belief that the world is overpopulated and we need to depopulate the planet, and it's becoming selfish to have children. That's an idea that's becoming prevalent in the world today. It's becoming selfish to actually have children. That belief is taking shape. So there's a lot of this totally goes against who we are as human beings, and there's just so much to unpack there. So I'm just going to leave the title, but there's confusion there. There's a lot there. And then the idolizing of governments, corporations, and celebrities overall, idolizing things and success and accomplishments and possessions and money and elitism and people who make money over God. I think that the Bible did mention that they did say we will become lovers of themselves, like in this world during end times. And I believe that that's happening right now. So like people treat their government or corporation or job or celebrity or elite, like the rich person that's telling you how to think and what to do, over what God believes, taking what they say over all else, which is crazy, really. But so that's been happening and very, very prevalent in the world. And the other thing is like the educational system being controlled and dominated, and indoctrinating our children from an early age to sort of weaken our society and weaken our future and weaken our countries and destabilize them, and teach them to just do what they're told rather than think for themselves. Make more education doesn't necessarily mean, yeah, you may be woke. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're a critical thinker, or actually it's making people become more further away from God than ever before. And it becomes more difficult to see the truth since the indoctrination has been happening since childhood, and there's so much more to unravel and undo. So their mind is confused and muddled by many lies. And I also went through the system, so I understand what's happening. Another thing is like people are becoming lovers of pleasure. So a lot of people don't want to see or face the truth, because what would that mean, and what would they have to give up? So there's a cognitive dissonance that blocks it all out. People only want to see and hear and feed what aligns with their ability to seek pleasure over all else. So people are seeking to feel good, and only what makes them feel good, like what is pleasing to them, over all else, which is not very like godly or biblical. And blocking out all of the truth or anything that we don't want to see, because we don't want it to affect our reality. We want to protect our reality. Another thing is independence instead of interdependence. I still struggle with this, and I am working on this one in a big way, but we've been taught to be independent and rely on ourselves and be super successful and do it on our own and all of this stuff, when interdependence is key. Like a lot is happening where we're becoming so like independent and not dependent on anybody else, that we're like solo entrepreneurs, solo everything. And really where our power is in interdependence. And I've been trapped in this for many years, solo on everything. And I've actually been trapped in most of these things a lot of my life as well. And I knew something was off, but like deep beneath the surface. I knew something was off and there was something wrong with all of it, but I just could never put my finger on it because I didn't understand what was going on and how to like decipher through the confusion. So then this interdependence and independence also leads to families being broken up and purposely divided. And there's so much divorce and it's becoming so normalized now. We have so many broken families. There's cheating and abuse and alcoholism and addiction, and so much that's tearing families apart at the seams. And that's designed by Satan because the family unit is so powerful when they're united and a strong front. So his mission is to divide families, divide racial, like all of us by race, by medicine now, by so many things. So anytime you see division, Satan is at work, definitely. And then right now we also see our freedom and liberties being threatened and considered normal because it's for our safety. Like governments are here to rule over us and protect us. Like we're sovereign beings and from God, and we know what's right and moral, but suddenly we don't know what's right and moral. Only governments do. It's a lie. We don't really need a government safety or protection. We have God's safety and protection, and we can protect each other and care for each other. It's a lie that the world's believing when the people should have the power over their governments. Okay.